Part 3, Tools of the Trade.
And once the panels are produced, we take them and using a set of cut plans, we will cut them to size and shape. So we don't have a set currently available, but we have all the dimensions on the particular set of drawings. The guys will mark them out. We cut these on both surfaces. There are manufacturers that use a CNC machine. So the whole panel goes into a unit, and between a saw blade and big routers, they'll run around the panel and cut it to size and shape. We cut all of ours by hand, but we're cutting both surfaces, and we're using essentially a straight edge precision saw for cutting the lines. There's other manufacturers that use what essentially is a chainsaw bar that mounts on a circular saw or a worm drive saw. And that works pretty well because you can cut everything in one pass, but it does, because it's a chainsaw type bar, it does flake the edges of the panel, so appearance-wise they're not as clean. They're much rougher edged surface. In order for us to cut both surfaces, as you can imagine, these things being about 600 pounds for an 8x24, we needed something to be able to flip them over so that we didn't have to flip them by hand. So we designed this table, which allows us to completely flip the thing over, land it back over on its other side, cut both sides, and then route it off, route the edges, and so I'll show you how the flipping table works now.
Pretty cool.
I think this is the coolest thing we've gotten.
This is awesome. Let's skip around this beam here. So you got a lot of clearance from that pipe. I was wondering. Look at this. Excuse me. So you could.
Yeah, go ahead, Sam. Just push on something up to happen. Just push it over.
Not bad, not bad. So pretty cool, another homegrown solution, right?
Yeah, so typically those little pistons on the end will push the panel over. So
Oh, okay.
one person can do it all of it. Might not have been. Oh, yeah, it's not plugged in.
So
why it didn't work.
I have a lot of fun playing with panel scraps because you guys are very generous in helping us out with projects. And the pitfall for me is moving the things because while they're light, it's more than one person light, right?
Yeah, they're bulky.
And so something like this is just magnificent. that you can get the number of person hours down and still do what you need to do.
Right. Yeah, it allows, we used to have 3 people flip them, so 2 people, 1 on each forklift, plus 1 person on the ground, keeping it from kicking out or kicking over. So you figure it's 2 pieces of equipment plus 3 people in man hours to do it. And you know, this when the little piston's working, it can all be done with 1 person. And usually Doug does most of our cutting all by himself. So
That's pretty cool. And this has got to be like the most. This is a Festool, straight edge. My God, this thing is. That is. Oh, I've never seen one. It must cost about $8,000.
Oh, they're not cheap.
Festool. Hey, it's all about precision, right?
It really is. It's an excellent piece of equipment. They think very highly of their equipment and price it accordingly. But you know, we've had one saw since we started.
Oh my God! Oh, and it's a
still running.
Festool.
It's 9 years now that
Holy
we
cow.
bought that thing. So considering how much it's been used, I can't complain.
So these are not a full set of drawings. These are broken down of each panel. You
Good.
can kind of see what the sizes are and what we would call out to the guys. So if they need to make, you know, roughly a 1'1" panel by 20'5" for a specific piece. This is all part of a larger building. You can see how each of these pieces are pulled out. The guys in the shop know exactly what they're doing, exactly where the chases are, and where some of the cuts are. So the hidden lines that you see here, those dashed lines, are indicating 2-bys. So this side would be recessed about 3 inches. That side would be recessed 1.5 inches, 3 inches, 1.5 inches. And so that indicates the lumber material going in.
Nice.
But yeah, you can see what some of these larger panels would look like too.
So single lines are splines and double lines are.
So without a line like that, usually indicates either a flush surface, and we'll call out double splines. So if it has a DS, which neither of these do, double spline means what a standard connection detail is. Like you see on that panel, that's double spline.
Right, okay.
And then the rest of these, like these are, I believe, electrical chases, and then you have recesses. So this is part of a rough opening for a window, and that would have the 2-bys all around on all 3 sides. Yeah, you can see what some of those look like.
It's pretty cool.
So yeah, we do, and then we take, and people sign off on what everything looks like.
That's
so
cool.
You can see that it has some testing and making sure everything's accurate.
And so, when it are, another cool thing about constructing with these is, in addition to all these plans, you guys put them on the truck. So pulling them off in the order in which they're installed, it's all very nicely thought through from the construction side.
We try to
keep it as
It's
organized
awesome.
as possible. You know, it's all by size. Some pieces get mixed, but for the most part, we try to keep it. You know, so that you can just move from one piece to the next and not have to shuffle a lot around.
And labeled, and the panel drawings are all. I mean, it's crystal clear. It's like
Everything has a
really
label
heavy
on it.
Tinker
We
toys.
can look at
Actually,
some of
take
the
a
other
look at some
projects.
of these.
Okay.
These are some of the panels that just came out of the presses. They just finished this morning. You can see the electrical chases in the panel itself. And they'll start cutting these tomorrow. We usually try to let things sit for a day, finish curing overnight.
So mainly cuts. You're making window openings.
Window doors, you know, roof pitches, you know, adjusting for different heights. These panels, in this particular case, are all getting cut to 8'11" 5/8". Even though we made them as 9-foot panels, they'll all get cut down so that they're nice and flat and square and even. Occasionally, the OSB won't come in quite square. It's, you know, just part of the game, and we'll have to go through and square everything up so it's nice and straight.
Cool.
These are already cut. This is some roof panels for a project that's going to Long Island actually this week.
Wow.
And you can see all the panels are labeled on all 4 sides, as well as on the top surface, so that anyone that's grabbing them can look at the stack and say, oh, you know, this is RE5 or RF2. And work from there.
So we can see here a couple of what must be edge ones, right? The ones without
Correct.
the.
Yeah, the ones without the spline surface. This will be an eave I'm sorry, this will be a rake.
Okay.
And that'll create the overhang. And then the others are all splined and joined together side by side with the 3-inch surface spline.
And the grooves are for coming back with foam,
With
right?
expansion foam to fill the gap in between the two panels. So it gives some place for that foam to travel. When you drill in, you inject the foam into the groove itself. Yes.
And that creates an airtight
Correct.
continuous panel with magnificent. The panel insets are created using a router. Many different tools have evolved for use in SIP construction. Precision cuts in the foam are typically made with hot wires, or foam scoops can also be used. As we heard before, chainsaw bars, as well as large saws and other tools can be used to cut the OSB, either in one pass or two passes. Here's the collection of tools that ACME uses to modify panels before they send out to the site. And here's an example of a supporting beam detail, as well as some of the foam products and other tools that are used.
But we'll also bundle everything, so that's
Yeah.
how the stacks are bundled together for the panels.
So can you get this stuff off a truck like at the job site with a regular forklift? You don't need one of those massive ones, do you?
They need to
probably
have
need
about
6 foot.
5-foot forks minimum. So a lot of times people will just end up getting extension forks for the forklift that they have on site. They're just steel bars that slide onto the forks. Usually they're 8 foot long, and they can unload them. If they're purchasing 8-foot wide panels, typically they're prepared to handle 8-foot material. If it's a homeowner that we're working with, or someone that's not really familiar with them or doesn't want to deal with the 8-foot, they're doing a little bit more by hand, then we'll usually ship 4-foot wide panels, and it's easier, with a normal piece of